Jordan here in Trafalgar Square, here with Hartesh Dale. Hartesh. Yeah. Tell me about your stand here, obviously fighting against racism. A lot of that going on now with Trump. I think the Tories are playing on race. Tell me about what you're doing.
Well, what we're doing is basically protesting against Trump and Boris and their sort of, blatant racism, really, and how that works to divide people and just create sort of just a real nastiness in society at the moment, which is just, I can't, what can I say about it? It's just deeply unpleasant and deeply unsettling for everyone, I think.
You know, it's interesting. I was in a cab with my girlfriend the other night, and the driver was definitely pro-Brexit. And he mentioned the open borders and immigration, which is very similar to, in America, a lot of people like Trump, they're economically hurting, and they've been kind of conditioned to think the immigrants are taking their job. It seems like you guys are seeing a lot of that here.
Yeah, I mean, there's a sort of, there is this idea that they're taking our jobs, and except that when you actually drill down into any of this, there's no evidence to suggest that that's the case, and nor is there any real evidence to suggest that actually it's brought down people's living standards. What has brought down people's living standards is stagnation of wages, because employers are extracting more and more, and taking more and more of the work. They're taking more value out of the system. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, wages have stagnated here for the last 20, 30 years.
Wait, am I in Europe or America? Because that's the same story there.
It's exactly the same story here. It's exactly the same story here. What's happened is basically wages have stagnated, job security has declined, people are really struggling, and it's an instinct. I suppose the simplest instinct is to try and blame somebody for that, and rather than and the politicians have used that to stoke up xenophobia and racism, basically.
And it seems to me part of that stagnation, you have productivity is going up, wages are stagnant, but the Tories and other governments have given plenty of tax cuts to corporations, wealthy people, and they've told you, that's good for the economy, we need to help the wealthy because they'll help you. It seems like people are smarting up to that.
Well, for me, what I fail to understand about what the politicians are saying is that if people are poor and they're living, they need to subsidise their lives with very expensive debt, they're not really going to be spending money in the economy. So how are you going to get in private investment in the economy when there's no demand? So, I mean, which is why I suppose that the Labour's sort of economic programme is so interesting and exciting, in the sense it is going to inject money into the public realm, and hopefully create jobs, create green industries and jobs around that, which will actually boost the economy and boost demand. But we also have to make sure that employers pay decent wages, because at the moment what's happening is that the state is subsidising low wages through tax credits. That can't be right, can it? That, all the information, all the data suggests that actually the rich are just getting richer and richer, the poor are getting poorer and poorer, and the state is subsidising the rich for them to get richer.
It's the same thing in America when you look at a company like Walmart, the Walton's richest, I think one of the richest companies in the world. They don't pay their workers a living wage, and then those workers have to go on welfare, and we pay for we pay to subsidize the Waltons.
Exactly. That's all that's happening at the moment. How is that sustainable? It isn't sustainable. It just creates more and more job insecurity, and I guess it keeps people apathetic. I've talked to people who are working such long shifts and are so worried about losing their jobs, they're not going to come out to vote. So, That's not democracy.
Right. And my last question, in America, particularly among progressives, they feel it's not enough to just get rid of Trump and put in another, neoliberal Democrat who's gonna be, say nice things but just sell you out to the corporations. They'll just do it in a not racist way.
Yeah.
What do you feel? Is it enough just to get rid of Boris, or do you have to get somebody in there who actually means what they say, not just somebody who's not going to speak racist, but somebody who's actually going to help the vulnerable, somebody who's going to actually help the working class?
Well, this is why I think, somebody who comes from a real socialist tradition, who is rooted in anti-capitalism and is anti-racism and anti-sexism, and I think there's just a chance for a fairer society there.
You're talking about Corbyn?
I'm talking about Corbyn.
Mm-hmm. And I have to ask, do you feel there's any credence when they say he's been anti-Semitic or said things that are anti-Semitic to Jewish people?
I think he is critical of Israeli foreign policy and Israeli domestic policy, and if that is anti-Semitic, I am anti-Semitic. But I've been on the...
Hope you enjoyed that last video. Hop on over to statuscoup.com where you can sign up for our email list and become a member for as low as $5 to $10 a month. Membership is how we grow. That's statuscoup.com/join. And remember, join our email list so we can grow the revolution with you.